Okay, hi everybody, and welcome to our weekly marketing tech talk show. Every Friday we meet at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and we talk about marketing. And our goal is really to simplify digital marketing for you, so social media, SEO, and all the technical tools that we need for web analytics and stuff like that to help you grow your website traffic and help you grow your revenue. So I'm your host. My name is Amel. I'm an SEO and web analytic consultant. And with me, I have my co-host Pam, and she's going to present herself before we start. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Pamela Gomez. I'm going to call myself a Mel student because she knows I'm learning a lot about SEO under her tutelage, she and Robert. But in my day-to-day, my company is called Au Natural Aromatherapy, and I'm an aspiring aromatherapist. I teach people how to use preventative measures to achieve health, wellness, and relaxation with the use of essential oils. And I am developing my web presence under their tutelage. And I'm also sharing my past experience here. And if there's any questions that you may have pertaining to my journey, I'll be happy to share.
All right, cool. So this is how the show works. If you have questions, we're here to answer all your technical questions about, your website challenges and anything about your marketing strategies. So we're here to help you out. That's our, job here for 1 hour. And if you have a website that you want us to review, we can quickly audit your website. You just have to enter the URL of your website in the chat box, and we will get to it. We are going to give you a quick review, and from an SEO perspective and from a marketing perspective to help you out. So in the meantime, if we don't have your questions here yet, we usually talk about a topic, and today we are talking about content marketing. So again, just to explain it to you, for Blab, to enter a question, you just enter the / and then the letter Q, and then you add the space and you enter your question there. So let's start. Pam, I know you had some challenges this week yourself because you were moving to a new host and you were actually rebuilding your website from scratch. So can you share a little bit your experience and any challenges you are having? So I can hopefully help you, and maybe if you're an expert in content, marketing, media, SEO, and you want to join us, we always have an open seat here, and we welcome you to join us and share your advice and tips also. So go ahead, Pam. Let me know what were your challenges this week.
Well, just to preface what we're going into, I just want to say that I was moving from GoDaddy to HostGator. And it was a smooth transition, smoother than I had expected. At first, I was afraid I wouldn't be able to do it by myself or without help, but it went rather smoothly. I had 1 or 2 hiccups, and I would say that would be with my email transition, the email account. What's happening with it, I've come to realize that it's just on my Microsoft Outlook on my desktop. So it's a notice that I'm getting that I have not been able to figure out why I'm getting this sync folder, even though all the other functions are working properly. I'm getting my emails, I'm able to send emails, but there's this error that's been generating, says only on this computer, and I couldn't figure out how to turn that off.
Okay, so other than the email, just before we move on, that's a good thing that you are talking about the email. Sometimes what happens when when the website owners, they move to a new hosting account, they forget to go to the new cPanel and to the new hosting dashboard and recreate the email that they had before in the old hosting. So one thing that it's really important, checklist for moving your website to a new hosting is to remember to recreate all the emails account you had before with the new hosting account, and make sure that you have the new SMTP information that you need to connect with your Outlook or whatever platform you're using to read your emails. Hi.
Okay.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Fine,
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for welcoming me. I appreciate it.
Our pleasure. So you heard Pam. She changed a new hosting and she's recreating her website there. So she's sharing her experience with us. Pam, you wanna give us, aside from the email, did you have any other challenges with your recreating your website?
Well, no, I followed a challenge that someone gave me, and pretty much everything is step by step. I'm not ready yet for SEO, but I'm building content, and it was pretty much straightforward. I'm excited to be doing this. And, I know if I needed help, I know where to go. Friday nights with Amel and Robert.
Thank you.
Maybe
so what about you, Alex?
Oh,
yeah,
I want
to
ask Pamela a question. Do you have your website set up with Google Search Console?
Yes.
You do? Because that's something when you're changing hosting providers, you might want to check that maybe in 2 or 3 days after you do make the switch, to make sure that there are no errors that come up. Sometimes when you're switching, some pages don't transfer over, the URLs might change, and you want to make sure to check that.
Thank you so much for that. Yep. I will.
For sure. Hope that helps.
Yep.
So, Alex, give us a little bit like an overview of what you do, and if you have questions about digital marketing or any technical or marketing challenge you may have or you had in the past, and you share it with us.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I own a creative digital agency here in the Tampa Bay area. It's called Yummy. You can see my logo back there.
Nice.
Yeah, Yummy Marketing, and we help businesses raise their visibility, evolve their brand, and attract more business. I am the author of a book called Digital Bacon: Make Your Online Presence Irresistibly Attractive. The book is in English and in Spanish, and has reached Amazon bestseller status as well. So so this is kind of in my wheelhouse. I definitely struggle with issues like all of us, because this is a moving environment. Currently, I'm trying to get up to speed with SEO trends. I just read that they pushed a new algorithm, I believe this weekend, which has affected a lot of websites. And I'm trying to read up on exactly what the effects were and the possible causes. Naturally, Google doesn't necessarily put out any documentation on those algorithms, but it's maybe as a top line guide, it's good to know, to follow best practices and make sure that we're not doing anything fishy, so that you're not slapped by an algorithm change all of a sudden.
That's good. I mean, yeah, Google algorithm changes so often, and I mean, if they don't change the algorithm or add something to it, they refresh their index about more than 500 times a year, which is really a lot. And sometimes it's hard in our industry to keep up with all the updates, and you can actually become really stressed out because you hear online that SEO is dead or things like that. And I find it from my experience, I've been doing for 10 years now. And I also run my own, digital marketing agency, and I help as a consultant, businesses. That it's good to, as long as you know exactly what Google wants, it's kind of not that dramatic when they change something, what they update, because if you have the user in mind and you know what Google guidelines are and you follow them, you should be okay. you may have like a small, I don't know, you can decrease in ranking, but it will go back really fast. It's because what we call the Google dance still happens. You know, like even before that, before they started with the Google Panda and all the, you know, zoo animals they have, I think this industry it's really about how are we going to be more stressed out when Google's going to come up with a new update. But the best thing to do, it's really to, as long as you abide with the guidelines and the, you know, of Google and Bing and everybody else, I mean, all the major, you know, top search engines, then you should be fine.
Yeah.
I don't know if you agree with that, Alex, or not, but I don't want to, you know, scare Pam here, who she's all this word.
No, I agree completely. I agree completely. I think that it's we're actually with a client right now experimenting the dance right now in a very major way. We just sort of launched a new web presence, and it's like every other day they go up or go down. And I've actually, because we submit weekly reports to them, SEO reports, and I've actually refrained some days on sending the reports that day because I know that their metrics are scary. They're like,
I know what you mean.
You're not doing anything. What's going on? And then the next day, they're ranking for like 18 terms, you know, the very next day. So yeah, that is something. But I have a saying that it's not about the snowflakes, it's about the snowball, right? So it's really not about what sudden changes you can make to your SEO, you know, to your presence. It's about the long haul. It's about the long story. What are you doing to get there in a lasting manner, in a manner that impacts, a manner that serves your audience in the best way, not just appearing on the first page, you know, all of a sudden.
Yeah, I agree with you completely on that. I know, Pam, you want to start writing more content because we talked about it, and hopefully today it's all about content marketing, and we have Alex here who can help us out. So the idea really, sorry, we have some technical difficulties. So if you have questions, by the way, sorry about that. If you have questions, please feel free to put your question in the chat box, and we're gonna get back to you and answer you. And if you have a website that you want us to review, to give you some quick, you know, audit in SEO and marketing and or anything like that, feel free to put your domain URL in the chat box too. So the topic today is about content marketing. And Pam is in the process of creating more content for her website. So I think it's important when you're starting from scratch, it's actually an advantage. And I don't know if you agree with that, Alex, when you're starting from scratch, because you have all the time to do all the competitive research. You can do your keyword research properly. You can structure the pages of your website in the right way from start. And you know, it's not like when you start with a website that has hundreds and hundreds of pages. It's very difficult to do on-page SEO at that point because you have a lot of pages to go through. But when you're starting out, that's really the best time for you to really plan your website and mostly plan the structure of your website. So since you're an expert, Alex, and we're going to take advantage of that, what would you, yeah, what we don't have,
I'm honored.
We don't have Robert. Usually we have Robert with us, Robert, who is another co-host. And so usually you know, anyways, he helps us out with any technical things or something like that. My question to you really is, what would you advise Pam in terms of, now that she started from scratch in a way, what is the first few steps that she should do so that she can build her website the right way?
Yeah, well, maybe we should start by the actual, you know, in my book, I have the BACON formula, BACON, and each letter kind of represents one of the steps to actually raise your visibility. So the B stands for based on reality. And it's important to know the reality of your market, the reality of your audience, the reality of your product, your offer. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to communicate? What is your end goal? What is your strategy? You know, at the end of the day, you want to know your audience so deeply that they feel that you are reading their mind, right? That you're a mind reader. That when you publish the content, they say, wow, it's unbelievable. Pamela understands me. She understands my needs. She understands exactly what I'm looking for. She's expressing it in the language that I feel comfortable by. She's expressing it in a way that actually makes me feel like I want to know more, like I want to engage with her. That's the kind of content that you should strive towards. And once you do that, one tip would be to kind of map the different moments in your customer's life cycle. So, for example, what are the problems that you're looking to solve, and what are these psychological triggers that a person comes up with when they are considering their problem? Like, for example, with me, like with my marketing agency, you know, what we do is we solve visibility problems. So we solve, you know, businesses, small and medium businesses that have a visibility problem. And the way they realize that is they say, wow, I'm not coming up in searches. Nobody visits my website. There's something wrong with my site. Nobody engages with me on social media, et cetera, et cetera. So those moments in which they realize that, my content strategy is to address each of those moments when they realize, when they come into contact with their own problems, right? And that would be one thing that I would advise, is to identify, just draw out a map or a chart on what are the problems that you, Pamela, are solving, and what are the exact psychological triggers. Like, write it out in a phrase form. When, you know, the frustrations, the needs, the desires, the anxieties that your customer deals with. And
I'm actually happy to hear you say that, because that's precisely what I've been doing today.
Very good.
That's good.
Excellent. Well, that's an excellent way to start.
I'm not ready. Even though the site is live, I wasn't ready to do my full SEO review just yet. I would have rather left it off for a little later, but I did meet my challenge of last week of having it at least ready to go live in 4 days.
That's good.
Very cool.
So
that's good.
I found myself having sleepless nights. I was at home with an injury, so it was time alone to work on nothing but the site.
Oh, wow.
And my challenge, well, the final thing is content, making it SEO ready, and the like. And I really don't want to review tonight, because I know you will pick it apart. I need some more time.
No, don't worry about that.
I just need some more time. Don't do it yet.
That's fine.
But Alex is right, actually, Pam and everyone who's listening. The first thing is really to understand your target market, and you need to really do a comparative research, to do some survey if you already have customers and you're trying to improve your website, and listen to them. What are their challenges? What are the issues that they're having right now? And maybe your website, your content can actually solve these problems, because it's all about content. And whether the content is in form of text, in form of video, of audio, or images, like, visual, graphic, and stuff like that, it really doesn't matter, as long as you are actually serving your target market by giving them the best high quality content possible, so that they can actually use that content, implement it right away, and see results. And the more you do that, and the better you're going to be positioned as an expert in your field, in the area of your expertise, and you are going to make a difference in the marketplace, because they will remember you. They will know as the go-to person, or the go-to brand, or the go-to company that's gonna really give them genuine content, genuine, information to help them. So that's really, as Alex said, it's one of the first things you need to do. So what's the next, Alex? We talked about the. So we are actually, in a way, talking about your.
Oh, well, I'm honored, and I'd be happy to talk through the formula. So the first one is based on reality, just understanding what the reality of the market is. Like you said, you very well said it very, very nicely. Understanding your market, eloquently. Your market, understanding your offer as well. And before we go into the second step, I see this mistake being performed by many business owners, where they go and start to speak to an audience, but they're not clear on what their offer is, what their pitch is. And this is really important in content marketing, because at the end of the day, we're trying to publish content not just in a creative manner, but also in a strategic manner. So at the end of the day, that content has to lead towards something, and that something is your offer. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to be selling through your content. It's not about, you know, ad copy or anything like that. But it does mean that you need to be clear on how you're going to inform your audience so that they are interested in some manner or another in your business pitch. So basing your content on that reality of what my offer is, there's a way to, you know, produce a pitch, and there's another way to produce an irresistibly attractive pitch, right? It's two different things. A pitch anybody can pitch, but an attractive pitch is that which understands that psychology and the psychography of your audience. So that's
Alex, just so that you're not in the dark, my area of expertise is in the area of health and wellness, specifically aromatherapy. So I do consults, I sell essential oils, I promote books, I basically try to help persons achieve health and wellness, and even so, to take preventative measures from becoming sick. Okay. And right now I'm running, while the website was under construction, I was running another little offer. I'm going to put it in the chat box so that others can see what I'm doing. I have a offer running now. It's 50% of what it usually costs to do a professional consultation. So in the interim, I'm running a special, half the price of what it would be usually, to do one-on-one aromatherapy consultations with individuals, so as to, you know, it's a go-between before the site is launched, where they can do the other stuff. And there's lots more than just consultations that I have coming forward.
Very cool. Well, it's great to know the context in which we were talking, and hopefully what we're sharing is supportive and helpful to you as well.
Very, very. Yeah. So I'm interested to hear this A.
Yeah, the A. A stands for aimed towards results. So successful marketing campaigns have a result in mind. They're not just throwing things at random. There's a specific result that they're looking for, right? At the end of the day, everything should support that result. And results is all about determining what your key performance indicators are. And in other words, that's just another fancy way to say, what are the things that you'll measure to know whether your efforts are successful or not, right? Because it's not about, you know, let me tweet 10 times a day. It's not about the actions that you take. It's about the results that you're getting, right? It's about when you do your 10 tweets a day, what results are you getting back from that activity? Are you getting any results from that activity?
Correct.
And if not, what do you need to do to get the results? A lot of people, unfortunately, get drowned by all these tactics and techniques and things that you can do online. And there's more than ever that you can do for free on the digital space. But do these things perform a result for you, right? Do those things produce the desired result that is actually going to support and move your business forward? I would venture to say probably engaging in too many things is not supportive. And a lot of them, if you're honest with yourself, you can say, well, this is kind of a waste of time. This is kind of a distraction for me. So therefore, it's better to focus on one or two or three things rather than 10 things and not, you know, waste your time and your energy and your focus, and possibly even be disappointed by lost efforts in one of these tactics. So aim towards results is all about making sure that you have a very clear result on the beginning, middle, and end of your customer engagement, and what actions you can take to support that journey that these customers are taking with your brand.
Okay. Thanks, Alex, for saying that. And I'm going to just add to this, so Pam, you can take notes. So what I see a lot of website owners and, you know, business owners do when they start using, the digital marketing, channels, and they get overwhelmed because they, as you said, they don't have a plan, they don't have a specific strategy, so they don't really know which result they're getting because they're not tracking anything, that they're not measuring anything. They didn't start with any plan actually from the beginning.
Right.
So what I really recommend is to ask yourself, like, if there is a new platform, if there is, let's say, so you're going to start a social media strategy, ask yourself, okay, why should I actually do a social media strategy? Does it really fit with my business?
Right.
Ask yourself really important question, how I am going to do social media. Do I have really the time to do all the social media that has to be done? And if not, okay, which area I can, focus on, like which platform I can focus my time and my effort on, so that I can expect a meaningful result.
Right.
And not just start blogging for this. Same thing for blogging. So don't start blogging for just the sake of blogging. Like, have a plan, have a reason why you're doing what you're doing. We have Anna with us. I'm really happy to have her. So we have a lot of celebrity today. So hi Anna, and welcome to our lab. This is really nice to have you here. Hello.
Hello.
And,
can you hear me okay?
And yes, we can hear you, and we can see you also. So thanks for joining us.
I've got a few minutes, but I didn't want to miss it.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to ask you, I know that we're talking about and aiming for results, but actually Anna is really an expert in I know her as an expert in guest blogging. I saw a lot of her webinars, and she's really good with content and with traffic generation. So please, Anna, if you can add to the conversation, like for business owners, before they start doing whatever they want to do in terms of digital marketing strategies, what the other steps they should take?
And okay, let's see, it's kind of hard to jump in. So I own a blog that's called Traffic Generation Cafe. And at the site, I talk about generating traffic through free means like social media and Google. And a lot of people come to my site thinking that they need more traffic. And that's great to have more traffic. We all could use some, right? But they forget that what is going to happen if they do get the traffic? What's going to happen to it on their website? And their website is not ready to receive the traffic. So I think those two things kind of come parallel to each other. You can develop strategies to build relationships, to build your business, but you also have to make sure that when that business comes, it converts on your site. So things like web design, conversion strategies are tremendous. Like, for instance, I see so many people that don't do any list building, and that's such a huge mistake. When I come to your website, first of all, most likely I come because I've heard of you somewhere, I saw your content somewhere, so I'm already kind of warmed up to you. So this is a perfect time. And yes, I might want to buy a product or your service or whatever it is, but most of the times I need to be warmed up even more. So building a list for business owners with websites is tremendous opportunity, a lot of times missed out on because people don't know how to do it.
That's great. Thank you very much. I know if you have much time, more time than that, but that's really right. A lot of people forget about capturing emails.
I totally agree with that. I got so excited when she was talking about that, because that was the reason I built that site in between, so that I could capture person's email addresses. The only thing I'm asking for with that bit.ly link that I posted earlier is that a person let me know that they're interested in aromatherapy and want to know more. So by going to that bit.ly link, they just leave me an email address, and then I get back to them.
Absolutely. And that's, sometimes people don't do it because they don't know what to say to their list, right? I don't build a list because I simply don't know what to say. But just trust me, if you start building a list, you'll find what to say. It will come to you. But don't wait until you have something to say and then you're thinking, oh, what have I been doing for a year? I should have started that a lot earlier. So just
I totally agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Totally agree.
Add anything aside from marketing, is there something that they take care of before they start doing social media, for example?
I don't think there's such a thing. I think you should just start, because the most important thing that you can do for your business is start building your personal brand as soon as possible. And so, for instance, you can find me on social media anywhere under Anna Hoffman. People might not even know what blog I run, what my specialty is, but they know Anna Hoffman, which means that whatever business I start in the future will have me attached to it, and I already have a rapport built with thousands of people everywhere. So my suggestion is, don't wait to jump on social media. I've got a few friends on social media who don't have a business. They just like the topic. I have a friend, for instance, her husband is in internet marketing. So she's online just trying to learn what he knows so that she can have an intelligent conversation with him, right?
Oh, nice.
But you never know. Tomorrow she'll start a business. And so many people already know her. So my strong advice, and a lot of people might not agree, but just start building your personal brand. You can always bring your business into that brand. And again, it doesn't have to be just one business. You know, today you're building one business. In a year, you decide to build 10 businesses. Your personal brand is what will usher those businesses in.
One thing I'd like to say about social media is, and I've been on social media since about 1995. So back before the internet was even popular, and unfortunately, you know, some of my friends, I'm totally telling my age out here, but it's okay. But the thing is that some of the people that I connected with back then are still my deepest friends. They're my colleagues. They're my community. And this proves that the idea of social media is all about interacting. It's not about, as business owners, we tend to find new places, new channels through which we can blast our business message. We can blast our pitch. We can post our URLs. And that's not what it's all about. It's really about the community. It's about interaction. It's about exchanging. It's about supporting one another. And if there's a social channel that you find that is too cumbersome to do that, I would say don't even do the other thing, which is sharing your link. Because at the end of the day, if you have an impersonal presence on one of your social channels, once you post your link, nobody will care. Why? Because everybody posts links. Spammers post links. Robots post links. Everybody does it. But when you engage with an audience, like for example, I have a fairly large audience on Twitter, and I've engaged with them. When I come out with my book and I say, hey, here's a link to my book, people are naturally curious and supportive on the things that I share. Why? Because I am naturally curious and supportive about the things that they share, right? And it's all about reciprocity. It's about helping one another. Right here in Blab, we are helping each other. You know, we're listening to each other. We're engaging. And it's because video and audio is a much more easier channel in which to do that. Well, this should be the same approach no matter where you are. I don't care if it's Snapchat, you know? If you're on Snapchat, you have to engage with people that are following you and people that you are followed by. So I would say the first step, I love what Anna said, is you know, putting out your personal brand for sure. That's very important. But also doing it in a natural attitude, in a personal attitude, in an attitude of help, of support, of community. At the end of the day, that's what the essence of social media is.
And I'm going to share with you a personal story. I have a friend, she wanted to start a business, having conversation. She was telling me, yeah, I have this ready, I need to have that ready. And she was like giving me like a list of things that she needs to have ready before she can start, you know, a website, creating a sort of accounts and stuff like that. So I was telling her, but okay, I hear you want to be 100% ready. The product is not yet, I mean, she didn't even create the product yet. I told her, and I hope you agree with that, but you are your brand. You are your product. If you start first by creating a platform where people know who you are. They will like you. If when you come up with a product, well, they will buy from you because they know you, they trust you. You have a presence in your market. But if you wait, well, until everything is perfect, well, perfect. So it's going to take too long for you to get it done or to get it even live at all.
Amel, I wanted to let you know your microphone is dropping in and out.
Yeah.
You might want to unplug it and plug it back in. But just to tag on to what you just said, the essence, I agree with it completely. I think we've passed from an era of impersonality to an era of personality. And now brands, you'll see that, brands on Twitter or other social media are not getting that much traction other than customer service and things like that. But the CEOs from the brand, the head executives from the brand are tweeting, are engaging, and are elevating the brand through their personal engagement on these social channels. So that tells us something, that we don't want to interact with brands anymore. We want to interact with people, influential people, people of authority. And this is you as a business owner, whatever your niche is, I think you should be striving to become a person that influences, a person that is worth listening to, whatever you do in whatever field you move yourself in.
Alex, if you don't mind, first I'll agree with you. No, first I'll disagree with you, then I'll agree with you. So I think from what I've been watching and following social media, we went from personal to impersonal, and now we're getting back to personal. Because remember, when social media first started, we were all there, we were excited, we were sharing, we were talking, and then something happened, and what happened is automation happened, and we put it on autopilot. We got too busy, too many social networks, and now we're getting to the point where we're finally realizing that it doesn't work. It's not working, so we're getting back to personal. And where I do agree with you is my biggest traffic generation advice that I can give to people who come to me and say, how can I drive more traffic from social media? And that is just be there, show up and talk to people, because way too many people, as you said, drop links and step away. They're not there. And it's amazing. For instance, take Facebook. I'm not a big fan of Facebook, but my audience is. So for the longest time, I didn't really do anything other than occasionally share something, just not my thing. But then one day I decided to show up, and within a week my traffic from Facebook doubled, and I did nothing but simply talk to people and just make comments and engage. So it's amazing what showing up can do and what difference it can make to our businesses.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Well, very well said.
We lost Amel, I guess.
I guess she'll be back shortly. I know she was having a bit of problem. Here she comes. But
I hope it's nothing I said. I hope it's nothing I said.
No. Of course, I'm sure it's not. But I'm enjoying listening to both of you, and I'm learning a lot from both of you. And amazingly enough, some of the things that you're talking about right now are things that I've implemented or I've been told to follow. So I think I'm in the right place on a Friday night.
Good.
Sorry, guys, I had a technical glitch, so I had to refresh. Is my micro now better?
Yes.
All right, cool. Cool. Yeah, so I loved your input, Anna, and I do agree with you. I'm sorry I missed a few seconds when I was refreshing, but you are completely right. We used to be really social, and our content, and we started to, because it's too much. There's too much, platforms. We wanted to automate our content so much that we became just like robots. We, like, even now, you follow someone and you receive an automated response telling you, hey, thank you, I'm a robot, but you can still talk to me. And I'm like, okay, what is that? I mean, can you? And you know what, I do the same thing, but when I receive a DM, like a direct message, automated direct message, when I follow someone, I always write back to them quickly, like hi, thanks, or whatever, check if this person is just using automated system and not answering, not engaging with the followers, or if they're gonna get back and say something, you know, in response. And I really want to follow, and I don't know if this guys, but I want to follow people who are really engaging with everybody, who answer you back, you know, ask question. We're building a community. So I want to be sure that these people are the right people. So anyway, I don't know.
Your microphone is dropping out again.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I was just about to say that. Yes.
I'm sorry to
My day.
Well,
I will take
there's
a
a comment.
second. I need to go pick up my daughter, but I just wanted to say quickly that this is the very reason why live streaming is so popular, and that's why it's going to stay, because it is personal. You can't automate that. You can't, you know, you have to show up. So that's why we're loving it, because we're bringing in that, you know, the feeling of hanging out by the fire, singing Kumbaya, whatever it is. But we love it, so we're here. So thank you so much for allowing me to come in for a few minutes.
Thank you for joining us, and I really appreciate it. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We have a comment in the comment box from Super Julie that says, I think the challenge for a small business person or startup is how to make sure that developing and engaging doesn't take up every minute of your time. And she's right, because some of my tweets are actually automated, and I'm kind of iffy about it. I'm like, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So I'm leaning more to getting rid of it. Mel, I can hear your keyboard pretty clear.
Sorry. All right. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So back to Alex, and I think we're on S now.
Well, if you want to go through the formula, so we went through, it's BACON, and we talked about based on reality and aimed towards results. So the C stands for creatively developed. Creatively developed is all about the quality of doing something that is correct aesthetically. And the field of aesthetics is very wide, and we can talk about many aspects of it. But I think I want to start with just saying that we live in an era in which the best examples of art in the world can be accessed from this little device. Before people even wake up from the bed, they can access the best museums in the world. So back in the 90s, when web design and, you know, these websites came up and things like that, people really had no basis of comparison when you put up a really bad GIF, a really compressed JPEG on your website. The typography was all incorrect. People had no basis of comparison. I mean, not everybody, of course, design students, art students, people that attended museums and things like that. But the general population saw a website and they said, well, yeah, I can focus on the information. But now it's not the case. Now people will compare you against the greatest brands. They'll compare you against the greatest examples of aesthetics and art and design. And this means that your presence as a brand needs to be aesthetically pleasing, aesthetically correct. And the way you do this is taking care of your visuals, your design, your color palette, and your words that you use.
I want to support you on something you said about waking up and then, you know, having access to all these things that were once unreachable. Just this morning as I woke up, there's a book that I wanted from my library. And before I left my bed, I got my notice. The book is available. You can collect. You know, and I'm like, whoa. Yeah. That was exciting for me because I've been looking for this book forever.
Wow.
And now I got notice and it's being delivered to my handheld device. So I don't even have to go to the library.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So that is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, and creatively developed has a lot to do with, like I said before, you would put up a web presence. You're getting a lot of noise from somebody. I'm not sure who that is.
I don't know where that's coming from.
Is that a Mel?
Why me? Why me?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're the easy target now.
I see that. I don't know. Usually everything works fine. Okay, I don't know. Can you hear me well now?
Well, it might have been just a wave coming through. Anyway.
So can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
All right. So, okay, good. The sound is good?
Yes.
So anyway, before, like I said, before you put up a website in the easy website builder, and if you went to somebody that had a design background, they would say, hey, listen, I want to let you know that your information is fine, but your design is not exactly up to par. But now I feel like you have no excuse. Nobody really needs to tell you that, because number one, the tools have gotten easier to do a decent, acceptable design. And number two, your comparison, I mean, it's easier and easier to compare your output, your digital campaign, with the best examples out there. And you yourself, in just being honest with yourself and saying, is my brand up to par with the other things that my audience is comparing me against? Because it's not a question of if, it's a matter of actually your audience will compare you to those greatest examples of your brand, of branding. So creatively developed is a quality of an essential quality of a successful digital campaign.
Correct.
So, can you hear me well now?
Yes, it's a little noisy, but yeah.
Really?
Some static or the other coming in.
I don't know what's going on today. Okay, so I'm just going to add to what Pam and actually David was saying in the. We were talking about actually someone else, Super Julie Braun. We were talking about the fact that it's kind of overwhelming that you need to, which is true, you need to share a lot of content, and not only that, you need to share high quality content. I really emphasize on that, on the fact that it has to be high quality, okay? And you need to share content that your audience, your community, it's something that they want to read, and they about whatever you are sharing with them. So the idea is really to learn about them. There's actually there's tools, social analytics tools. If you use them, you can learn exactly what your community on Twitter looking like to learn about. If it's business, if it's marketing, if it's social media, or whatever topic Twitter is about. Okay, and from there you can create a content strategy, deciding which type of content you want to share. Okay, my mic again. Okay, which?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna try something else. Guys, sorry about that.
Okay.
Well, in the meantime,
Is it better?
Oh yes, it is better.
Yes,
okay.
much.
So sorry about this, the sound. Yeah. So as I said, Julie, that they have a team that maybe take care of content for their social media, but maybe not everybody has a team, or if you are an entrepreneur, well, you can't really hire a team, or you'll have to do it yourself. So I'm going to share with you some tips to make it easy for you, because it seems to be over. First thing first, make sure you know who are your followers on Twitter or Facebook, or like, who are they? What type of content they read? And as I said before, when my mic was really bad, you need to use a social analytics tool that will actually go and crawl your entire Twitter, feeds and Twitter followers information, and they can tell you which topics they are interested to learn about. And then from there, start really looking for high quality content. And you can use tools to make it easy to do that. Like, for example, there's a lot of apps that, like the Pocket app, and they have it on the web, and then they have it on their iPhone. I don't know about Android, so excuse me for that. They do. Okay, so the Pocket app, it's a great app to find, really, like, to actually save, to bookmark the content you don't have time to read. So what you could do when you're surfing the web, and I'm sure you all do that, you really stumble upon great high quality content, and you just say to yourself, if I like it and I find it useful, I'm sure my community will love it. So let's save it to the Pocket. So you save it on your Pocket, all right? And then you go to, when you have time, you can go back to it, you can read it and take time and decide to do something. You can put a lot of content on that Pocket app. And maybe, what you can go back to your pocket and then go through the content and then start using the Buffer app to schedule your content. Sharing everything in one time, just have share a few today, a few content in like 2 days after that, and so on. Because with the Buffer app, you can schedule like the tweet to be republished a few hours later or few days later, and so on. This can help make your life easier or something like that. So. Yeah,
Well,
like excuse me, Alex. Like David in the chat, Feedly is also a great app that you can add to your. So both Feedly and Pocket are really good to use for automating your content. So we're automating the content, like publishing. We're not automating the interactions with your community, with your followers. These kind of interactions, they should be live. They should be by you. They should not be automated. So that's important. You can automate a thank you once a week, sending a thank you for everybody, but don't use automated response to say thank you, thanks for following me, things like that. Too often, it's not really good. Go ahead, Alex. Sorry about that.
Well, I wanted to add to that. No, that was great, and I wanted to add to that even if you're automating your content curation and sharing, there's an impersonal and a personal way to do that. Again, let's say you find an article that is a very well-written article, and it's titled like 10 tips to help support your health through aromatherapy. And Pamela looks at that content and she says, wow, this is a content that my community is going to be happy that I share it because they're already interested in this subject. They're going to be happy that I share it. If you go ahead and share it and your post language says 10 tips to support your health for aromatherapy, chances are your community is going to say, well, it's another blog post. I don't have time for that, whatever. But if you share it with in exchange, if you share it by saying, wow, I really found this article helpful. I agree with points number 2 and number 3. Now, number 1, you're giving value to your audience, right? Number 2, you're showing your audience that you're doing it in a personal manner. And number 3, if they're already interested in you, in your authority, naturally they're going to engage with that content because you already told them that you found that content interesting. So therefore, they're going to use your credibility to say, wow, if Pamela found this content interesting, maybe there's something in that for me, right? And that's the way to share content in a personal way. And you can still, using the tools that Amel mentioned, using Buffer, you can still, instead of just putting the default title, rewrite that title in a way that is personal, that actually expresses that you went through the article, that you read it, and that you found some value in that you're so gracious to share with your community the value that you saw in that content.
Agreed.
True.
Just to add to, I know we're not sharing apps and the like that do posting for you, or automate posting, but I was on another show just earlier yesterday, I think it was, they mentioned Ripple, RIPLE.com. That is another a means of sharing or automated posts. Yep. So just to mention one or two.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. There's IFTTT as well. There's a good one, IFTTT.com. There's a few great tools that support, and the way to support you is that you don't have to be in front of your computer or your mobile device 24 hours a day. You know, you can share at those key moments in the day when your audience is most engaged, which is, I wanted to kind of address the anxiety of the person that shared that question, that, you know, how do you put together and put together a social strategy without losing your hair, right? Without giving up all your time that in which you should be developing product and working on your sales and whatnot. And I think the key is that you want to, number 1, do it in a personal way. So at the end of the day, this is just engagement. This is just interaction with real human beings, right? But number two, I have a saying that it goes that everything is an experiment, right? I don't believe in any guru that says, you know what, I have the formula, I have the key, I have it 100% tied up. Why? Because number one, that's a lie. And number two, all social channels change and put out new features that you can use. So nobody has it 100% together. And therefore, you should not feel anxious. You should reject that anxiety of, am I doing enough? Am I not doing this? Take a plunge, go head first. It's all an experiment. And the result of that experiment on social channels is the engagement and the interaction and growing that community in an organic fashion. That's the result. But at the end of the day, there's no right or wrong on social. There's no, I mean, of course, there are wrong ways to
There's
use
some wrong, yeah.
There's ways to get banned and ways to burn your personal image. But what I'm saying is that when you're engaging in a personal and a true and authentic manner, there's really no wrong way to do it. All you have to do is make sure to do it authentically. Be yourself, right? Be authentic with your value, the value that you bring. But I don't think that, I'm not on social media 24 hours a day, but yet my audience feels that I have a presence. Like Anna was saying just a few minutes ago, that I show up, that if they tweet at me, that I reply, that I don't ignore the signals that come out there. I may not read all the tweets of everybody that I'm following, and I absolutely don't. But my audience does know that I am responsive, that if they share something, if they ping me for something, they know they will get a response from me. And that's why I continue to be followed or friended or whatever the case may be.
And I try to do that. I try to respond to most of my tweets and also thank people for following and, just to engage. And that's on Facebook, Twitter, Blab. And it's you have to do that in order to engage and connect and, let people know that you really care. And that's part of my aim is to reach out to people, find out what their needs are, and if I can, fill that gap.
Right, exactly.
And you know what's cool about the digital marketing world is you can actually track everything. And Leon in the chat was saying that test, and he's so right. And you're using Buffer and you're actually scheduling your Buffer to be published, you will be able to have an analytics, page where you know exactly how much each post received in terms of shares, in terms of reach, and so on. So which is cool. Which really is cool about it. It's when you start changing the title of the post, or maybe adding something, a question or anything to engage with your audience, you'll be able to see which actually post brought them the best results. And
Absolutely.
from there, you know exactly your audience, what your followers, what your community is looking for, and which actually type of post they interact with and they engage with. So you can't really say, I don't know, because the tools are there. You just need to know how to use them, and don't get overwhelmed with all the tools. Just pick one, test the tool itself. If you like the features and if you like how it works, just keep using that tool. You don't have to go and try 1,000. Find the one that is right for you. So we're talking about Buffer, but maybe you have another tool that you already like. As long as you have the analytics feature, then you are set. You just use it and keep using it until you really become really successful with that tool. Because I don't know if you agree with that, Alex, but it's not about the tool. It's about how you use it.
Right.
So,
absolutely, and the word tool points you to the right meaning. Like, for example, I don't know any communities about hammers, right? Oh, let's talk about hammers. At the end of the day, the hammer serves a purpose, and it's to work on wood, build furniture, whatever the case may be. It's the end result that matters. So social media is just a channel. It's a hammer, right? It's a means to an end. The important thing is the end, right? The important thing is what use we're getting out of that, and that's really what it comes down to. But Amel, I loved what you just said, because you actually summarize the next two steps in the digital bacon formula, which
Wow.
so it shows your expertise, and it shows how well we're actually connected without knowing each other.
Exactly. Thanks, Alex.
So the next two steps are organized in propagation and numerically measured. So organized in propagation is all about distribution. And you talked about tools for distribution. You talked about Buffer. We talked about IFTTT. We talked about Ripple. We talked about Feedly as well. And these are ways to distribute our content online. And the successful digital campaigns are those that have a plan for distributing their campaign. It's not just about publishing, it's about distributing them. It's about putting it out there in the right channels and at the right moments. I actually, in my book, I actually explained there are three dimensions in the digital realm, three dimensions of distribution that you can play around with to make sure that your content is seen. And those three dimensions are, number one, it's time, right? So what are the times in the day, times in the week, times even in the year if your product is very seasonal? What are the times in which your content has the most impact, right? So time is the first. The second dimension is space, but we're not talking about physical space, we're talking about digital space. So here we're talking about, again, what are those channels? What are those placements? What are those areas in which you can place your content so that it can be seen? And then the third dimension is what I like to call, and this is a term that I use, it might not be the orthodox term, but I like to call it particularity. So particularity has to do with which segment of the audience are you speaking to at one moment or another. In the digital realm, we have the ability to speak to a general audience, just talking to everybody at the same time. You have the ability to speak to a segment of the audience, and you also have the ability to speak with an audience member one-on-one. So let's say you're talking, you're replying via Twitter, or you're sending an email to somebody. This is an individual particularity, right? So these are the three dimensions that when you produce content, you can actually produce content for these different variants in these different places in these three dimensions, and make sure that they're distributed correctly.
Great.
Yeah, that's really interesting what you're saying, and also it seems that what's important, like when you're doing all these distribution, is to find the one that works for you. I remember I was reading this somewhere, but if in a way what it says, right, is to find what your target is looking for, find where they congregate, and then go and give it to them where they are actually. So instead of just publishing everywhere, just find where they are first. Publish where they are so they can find your content. Because if you just publish, you know what I mean, without just having any idea where your target market, then you're not gonna hit them. They're not gonna see your content. You're gonna miss big opportunities. But if you know which blogs they like to read, which digital magazines they like to read, or new website they like to read, and then you'll be able to publish your content in these places. If let's say we're talking about content here, and to add to Alex, if you know that there is like the 5 top blogs where your target market is really, they love reading these blogs, they go there, they comment, they ask, they interact with the blog owners, you should go try to guest post on these blogs, because that's where your target market is actually congregating. That's where they are. So you can reach, you reach. I hope you agree with that. It's time to wrap up. So thank you, Alex, for joining us today. Thanks for Anna. And thank you for everybody who you've been here for 1 hour. We hope that you enjoyed all the content that we shared with you, all the advice and everything. So we do this show every week on Friday at 7 p.m. And you talk about digital marketing. We try to simplify marketing and technology for you to help you grow website traffic and revenue. And some experts who join us in here in our seats, and they answer your questions. We have an open discussion. And so thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing this blab with your community. We really appreciate you. We appreciate your support and following us every week here. It's really it means to us. And so thanks again. And I hope to see you next week. Pam, if you want to leave us with the last words.
Well, before I do my last words, David is asking, do you guys have a web page or indexing of all the
yes,
links?
of course.
You can share that.
It's actually here. I'm going to put it in the chat. David, for asking the question.
But yes, I want to just say thank you to everybody who contributed tonight, especially Alex. You guys gave some awesome advice, some of which I've known, some of which I've been putting into practice, but yet some that I did not. And now I want you to know that I followed each of you, and I appreciate you following me back. I saw some persons following me during the blab, and I just want to say continue to monitor and look out for us and visit us on Friday nights at 7. Usually we have Robert here, but he couldn't make it tonight. But we thank you, Alex, for being playing such a pivotal role. We really appreciate that. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. You guys have been great.
See you next week. Thank you, everyone.